Magnet television.
Magnet television.
Magnet television.
You're watching Magnet television because what else are you going to do?
Hey, it's Jason Lytle from California, Earth, and the band Grandaddy. Boys of Summer by Don Henley. I know, it's weird. There's just something about it's so sweet and kind of wistful, you know, the end of summer and just like whatever you didn't get right through summer and just like, you know, the weather's changing and you're getting bummed because you're going to go back to school. Remember, that was about the beginning of MTV2 and the video was really cool. It was just like, it's a great reflection of the song. I don't know, all the music out there ever recorded, and I picked that one. I'm confused too. I don't. I'm sorry. A New World Record by Electric Light Orchestra. Man, when I was a little kid, probably like 7 or 8, my dad got with my stepmom, and my stepmom was actually a DJ in a radio station, and the radio station shut down, and they inherited all the albums. They all kind of they just pillaged the place, and so anyways, when I got a new stepmom, I also got this amazing record collection, and we lived out in the country, and I would draw and wear headphones and listen to music, and I got to discover a lot of bands on my own, but one of them that went on to affect me for the rest of my life was ELO. But I think the pivotal record, the one that kind of it really hit their stride, was A New World Record. And I love ELO too. It used to always bum me out though. People mention the hits, and there's so many non-hit, just incredible songs, and the production was incredible, and I'd never heard anything like that before, and it really did a number on my head up to this day. It's I still feel like I tried to accomplish what I got out of hearing. I'm trying to do that myself in my own way. But anyways, A New World Record by ELO. I actually don't go to a lot of shows, and I think I was more interested in seeing live bands years ago, but I would just go just to learn what not to do on stage. But I think the concert that had the biggest effect on me was probably the first one I ever went to. My brother, we lived in a town called Merced, and we drove an hour and a half to a town called Fresno, and I was 10 or 11, and we went and saw Cheap Trick, and it was in a theater. It wasn't a big, it was probably a 500-seat theater or something, and we were close enough to the front. My brother was kind of crazy, so I'm sure he hauled me up to the front, and Rick Nielsen, the guitar player, was hucking picks all night, and I was just I gotta get a pick. So I actually was crawling between people's legs, and I jumped over the stage barrier, and the bouncer was chasing after me, and I grabbed the pick. I was just yeah, I'd never experienced anything like that before. It was and then I had the pick for years too, and I was just loud, and it was crazy, and it was Cheap Trick, and so yeah, I'm sure that kind of set me on this trajectory. So Grandaddy used to tour pretty relentlessly, and there would be great shows, amazing shows, and then there'd be real stinkers. Sometimes we would end up. This one particular time, we ended up. I don't know if I would call this embarrassing, because I woke up in the morning. We were at a German festival, and it was all these like weird ass metal bands. Like, the billing was terrible. Whoever put us on this festival was just was high. And it was early in the morning, and there was just, all there just was just a bunch of drunken goons out there at like 10:30 in the morning. And I was pissed. So I just started pounding wine. And by the time we went on, I'd already killed a whole bottle of wine. And I was just I just decided I was going to sabotage this show. The first song on the set, I used to do this every now and then, and it used to drive my bandmates crazy, because they could just tell that I was on a wild one, and they're like, "Oh God, here he goes." But we started the set list with it was 6 minutes of anything in C, and Grandaddy was not an improv band. We were very much by the book. We had to play everything. All the parts were very dictated, and it worked better like that for us. So I would just be like, "All right, first song, anything in C for 6 minutes," and everyone's like, "Oh God, here we go." So it started off as a train wreck, the show, and people just were not into it at all, and I knew it. But I remember at the very end, and I was just pounding wine on top of the bottle that I drank before we started. Throughout the whole show, I was just glue, glue, glue. So I was just pissed and drunk and angry, but also laughing and just feeling ornery towards the end. And I had this big keyboard rack in front of me, and I was just swaying back and forth. And finally, I just tipped over forwards, and I fell forwards, and just keyboards flew everywhere, shit was breaking, and and it was I wish I would have done it at a better show, because it was actually pretty hilarious, but people still didn't get it. They're like, "What is this? This California new wave band just falling on stage with keyboards everywhere." I'm just anyways. Embarrassed? Nah. Amused? Yeah. Drunk? Yeah. This is Jason Lytle, and you're watching Magnet Television.
Cine.